Hi, I'm Lori Seeley, functional medicine health coach. I'm going to try and keep it short today because I'm about to be extroverting quite a lot in a couple of hours. I'm recording a podcast, so I'm so excited about this. I'm going to be the featured guest on an upcoming episode of the Healthy, Wealthy, and Smart podcast with Dr. Karen Litzy. She's a physical therapist in New York City, and she runs this great podcast featuring top experts in physical therapy, wellness, and entrepreneurship. So we're recording my episode later on today, and we are planning to talk about poop, which is, of course, my favorite subject. So I'm so excited. So I wanted to do my Facebook Live today, too, because I have a little time while I'm waiting for our appointment to record the podcast. But I just want to keep it a little short because I only have so much of this energy to go around, Anyway, so for today's Facebook Live, I want to talk about how I did a very much not uncomfortable colonoscopy prep. This was a number of years ago, and I still remember that, my mom and dad had been doing colonoscopies every couple of years. They both found polyps, and so they weren't doing it just on the regular schedule. They were doing it a little more frequently. And so I kept hearing about the prep work. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, I know that a colonoscopy is in my future because of the history of colon cancer in my family, which, as you may or may not know, is the big reason why now I'm a functional medicine health coach, because I learned about colon cancer at a very young age, and I don't want to die that way. So I'm learning about colon health, and that's why poop is my favorite subject, because it's your best way to know how your colon is doing. So anyway, I'm going to tell you about how I prepped for my first and only colonoscopy so far without drugs and with very little discomfort. So at the time, it was back when I was actively fighting candida, and part of my treatment was colon hydrotherapy a couple times per week. And that went on for a few months. And, while you're in there with a hose up your butt, you get to talking with the practitioner who's helping you with your colon hydrotherapy. And I discussed with her that I was still was doing this candida cleansing, and I had been, for a while there when I first started, my poo was like nirvana poo. It was amazing. I mean, after being constipated for such a long time, and then going to this like huge amount of poo at one time in the, sorry if I'm grossing you out, but it's amazing. It's like fascinating to me. The difference was amazing. And then after a while, I don't know if my body just got used to what I was doing now and kind of went like I hadn't fixed everything. There was still something left to do. And I went back to my old constipated ways, not as bad as before, but it was still occasionally a problem. So I was discussing that with her and discussing that I, just wanted to check. I wanted to do a colonoscopy just to see. And I had started a relationship with a gastroenterologist. And she told me, she was like, you don't have to do that horrible, awful prep. You don't have to drink that disgusting sweet liquid that they give you. And you don't have to spend a day and a half on the toilet, cramping, vomiting, whatever, like nauseous all day long. It doesn't have to be that way. So I was like, oh, do tell. Because that was the part that was like, I knew that I had to do it. I even had it scheduled already, but that was the part that I was really scared of. So she helped me prep for it. And I received the drink from my gastro doctor and said thank you for it. And I didn't drink it. I went to my colon hydrotherapist instead for help with the prep. And so what I remember is that the morning before the colonoscopy, now you have to understand I was already I've been looking at I just was looking, like doing some research for this Facebook Live. I was looking to see what exactly doctors tell you to do to prep for colonoscopy, because it had been a while and I forgot. Well, a lot of the things that they say to do is like part of the diet that I was already doing, like high fiber and all that stuff, like, a week before the colonoscopy. So I was already doing most of the stuff. I was already eating a really healthy diet, and so the only thing that I had to change was like the day before the colonoscopy. So this may be different for other people who aren't already eating the way that I was eating at the time. Anyway, so as always, do your own research too. So the morning before the colonoscopy, I had to take some magnesium citrate, and that was like enough to give me some watery stools so that it would sort of break it up and make it easier for her to get really everything out. Because normally when you're going for colon hydrotherapy, the goal is not to completely clean out your colon, but before a colonoscopy, that is the goal. So you do the little bit of magnesium citrate to just make it easier to clean everything out. If you don't do that, there's going to be stuff that you'll miss, right? And for me, that was really the only part that was different from doing regular colon hydrotherapy. That, and of course, not eating anything the whole day and just drinking clear beverages, right? So then I went to my colon hydrotherapy practitioner in the afternoon, and she cleaned me out. And there was no hanging out near a toilet all day long. There was no cramping, flu-like symptoms, nausea, vomiting, none of that stuff. I pretty much, the day before my colonoscopy, I just had a relaxing day, drinking water and other clear liquids. You got to make sure you stay hydrated during colonoscopy prep, because no matter how you do it, dehydration is a real danger here, and it can be life-threatening. So you don't want to ignore that, right? And then the next day, I think my appointment was at like 8:30 in the morning or something like that. I went to the hospital and I got the colonoscopy, and my doctor fully thought I'd taken the drink and spent the previous day and night awake, nauseous, cramping, uncomfortable, pooping my brains out, because my colon was clean and ready for the colonoscopy. Now, this was a success story for me. These things don't always happen. Like even drinking that drink before a colonoscopy, in my research, I've found that doesn't always completely clean it out, and you have to try again. So no method is foolproof, of course, but this is far more comfortable than the alternative. But a word of caution: I never, ever want you to do anything against medical advice that you feel uncomfortable with. So make sure that you don't stop your research on this topic just with hearing my story and then jump right in, okay? I want you to definitely ask around, ask a functional medicine doctor, see what they think, find a colon hydrotherapist and get more educated on the subject and really see what they think about it and listen to what they have to say. So don't just rely on my advice here. This is one experience that I had that was wonderful, and you can absolutely do it too, but just don't simply take my word for it on this particular thing, okay? Also, some of you might be on medications that you need to consider with your prep. So I'm not on anything like that, and it wasn't an issue for me. But for some of you, it won't be that simple. You have to just find out which medications you can still take and which you shouldn't take, and for how long before the colonoscopy, et cetera, right? I just want to make sure you know that there's so much more of a comfortable solution with colonoscopy prep available to you that your doctor probably won't mention. Okay, well, that's it for my topic for today. That's how I successfully prepped for my colonoscopy without drugs and without taking that gross prep solution. Yay me! So now I'm off to get ready for today's podcast recording, which I'm so excited about. I included the link to the podcast, so you can go there and subscribe. and listen to all the great content that's really there. It's an amazing podcast. She has business people on there. She has other physical therapists on there. They talk a lot about physical therapy in there. And my episode is going to be on there live soon. I'm not exactly sure when. I didn't even record it yet, but go there and subscribe so you don't miss it, okay? And I will definitely be posting in Facebook and Instagram when it does go live too, so you'll be sure to know. And as always, if you have IBS or Candida and you're at your wit's end and you're like so ready for a step-by-step solution for repairing your gut, please reach out to me. You can comment on this video. Be sure to tag me so I see it. You can send me a message on Instagram at Lori Gutsy or on Facebook Messenger, or you can go ahead and set up a 30-minute strategy session with me. I included a link to my calendar in the notes. Also, there's a link there about this week's blog, link to this week's blog post about drug-free colonoscopy prep. So that's it for me for today, and I will see you next week. Bye.